Are you guys looking for a cargo bike? Well, you might want to look no further than the Aventon Abound. Now on the Abound, you can get all kinds of different accessories with this. But first, let's go over what comes on this bike. And in order to talk about that, let's take this thing back to full stock. And back to stock, the way you'll buy it if you don't buy any accessories with it. And check out the massive rack that you get on this bike, 143-pound capacity, and it comes in at a massive 28 inches. Man, it's almost limitless what you could haul on this bike. And if you have another human in your life that weighs 143 pounds or less, Aventon supplies these awesome aluminum foot plates that you can sit somebody on. So you can go for dual rides and have a lot of fun. I'm a little heavy for this. Let's get off here. Now, if you choose to not buy any bags for this bike, don't worry. Aventon supplies one right here in the frame. This is one of the coolest little setups that I've ever seen come on a bike. This bag fits securely between the wheel and the seat tube, and this thing can actually hold a lot of stuff. Now check it out, whenever you open this thing up, you've got these little ribbons that prevent this from all the way opening and dumping out all of your supplies or your tools on the ground. It's got this mesh little pocket here that you can store things like the handy little Aventon multi-tool that they give you. I've got a bike lock stored in here, but you could put a mini pump, your phone, your wallet. You wouldn't have to worry about having an additional bag other than what comes on this bike if you're just going to be cruising around with this. Now, Aventon had safety in mind. If you decide to haul a human around on this bike, they supplied these plastic little guards that protect any tiny feet from getting in the spokes or the rear disc that's on this bike. And they also decided to put this really nice quality rear taillight on here that not only has a brake light whenever you brake, but also has built-in turn signals. Now, if you're like me and you would forget to turn the turn signals off and people would think that you're gonna make a left turn all the time, no worries. Aventon, they put a timer on it. Now, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know I'm not a fan of the lights that come on e-bikes. Not because they're lights, but because they're not super bright. And that's still a problem with this bike. This bike light is only going to give you a minimal amount of light, not guiding your path as much as I would like to see. But the nice thing is it's there so traffic can see you while you go down the road. Front and back, you are going to get 20-inch wheels. Now, these wheels are going to help you get that center of gravity nice and low. So having a 20-inch wheel on a cargo bike seems like the right move to me. Something that really surprised me on this bike is the Novatech hub. The front wheel has a Novatech hub and it has a through axle. Pretty impressive, Aventon. Pretty impressive. And speaking of impressive, they put a name brand fork on here. These guys kind of thought of all of it. They went with an SR Sun Tour front fork so you can get the ultimate ride while you're going down the road, carrying another human or whatever cargo you want to carry. Now, looking up front here, the first thing that I noticed was, of course, the brakes. These come with hydraulic Tektro brakes. These things have plenty of stopping power to stop anything that you can carry on this bike. Now, if you're like me, you probably thought grip shifts went away in the early 2000s, but I can tell you, they're back and I'm here for it on e-bikes. It makes it super simple to shift, and when I was out on a ride with it, I actually found that it shifted faster than the trigger shifters that typically come on these bikes. The twist shifter is actually super responsive and fast. I can switch through the gears really quick. The derailleur reacts instantaneously. And moving over, of course, Aventon puts on this same color display on all of their bikes, and I love the consistency and I love this display. It reads really easily in bright sunlight, and it's not too bright when it's dark out. This thing displays all the information you can need, and if you need a little bit more info, they've got a way that you can connect to the app through this screen. Now further over on the handlebars, you are going to get the control to increase your pedal assist level and turn on your blinker and power on the bike. Are you going to have multiple people riding this bike in your family? Well, you don't have to worry about adjusting the seat quite like you normally would. Typically, a dropper post is not something that you see on a cruiser style or cargo style e-bike, but Aventon added one, and all you got to do is pull this lever and it raises up, pull it again and push down on it and it'll lower the seat. So there's a couple added benefits for one of these. If you have multiple people in your family, you can simply set it to the highest setting for the person who's the tallest in your family, and then inevitably whoever is going to be the shortest should have an ample amount of adjustment with just the dropper. No need to actually move the seat post at all. Really cool idea. I'm glad they installed this on this bike because as a potential car replacement bike, you might have multiple people in your family that want to ride this. And also on the seat, they put a handle on here so you can easily lift up and maneuver this bike around. Now coming back down here on the ground, you can see that they installed some metal Aventon fenders. These are both front and back. Now coming back here to look at the drivetrain, you're going to get a massive 52-tooth chainring along with a double guard on the chainring, a 170 millimeter crank arm, and then you do get a top chain guard. I really like that they put this stuff on here to protect you from getting your pants caught in the chain, and it also just will prevent any type of dirt or grime from getting up on you as the rider. And check this out, they put a pulley up here so the chain doesn't run underneath the chainstay, it runs up and over it. This is going to prevent any of that annoying chain slap, and also with it tensioned up like this gives it a super quiet ride, and you don't have to worry about this chain hitting anything while you're going down the road. Now looking underneath the footguard here, you're going to see the Shimano Tourney rear derailleur. This is a pretty entry-level rear derailleur, but it is a super reliable rear derailleur. Now hidden back here in the rear wheel is the 750 watt Aventon motor. And check out this hill climb that I did with this where it was fully loaded down with all kinds of supplies. All right, so how this works is I'll just get up to speed with throttle and then I'll start pedaling here in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and pedal, and the torque sensor kicks in immediately. There was zero delay between throttle and the torque sensor, and that's what I love to see, and something that you'll definitely need if you're going up hills with a cargo bike. So right now, the gearing is a little bit hard to see. I can't really read what gear I'm in. It's kind of difficult to see the number. Could probably change that angle a little bit, but we're about at the 12%, and this thing is pulling like crazy. Once we get past the driveway here, we'll be at the 19% grade. This thing is doing really well. Shifted down one, and I'm not putting hardly any pressure on these pedals, just a little bit. Almost up this 19% grade, and we're maintaining right around 11 to 12 and a half right now. This bad boy has a ton of power, which is ideal for a cargo bike. Really good job, Aventon. Felt really well balanced climbing up this hill too. So I think Aventon did a really good job at picking the right size motor and power output so you can utilize this as a cargo bike. Now I'm really liking these side load batteries that Aventon has been putting on a lot of their bikes lately. It makes it super easy to remove this. You don't have to worry about the bike wheel and fender getting in the way. And they color match everything, which makes this really, really nice. Now you can charge this battery on or off the bike with this simple rubber plug right here that protects it from the weather. And then also with the side load battery, they somehow are able to include some bottle boss mounts so you can carry a water bottle or maybe store a lock right here if you'd like. Now let's talk about something that didn't quite go as well as what I would hoped, and that is ride stability. Now stability on a cargo bike can be kind of a nightmare. You've got a ton of weight in the back and no weight up front. And as you can see in this video, whenever I took my hands off the handlebars, the front end got a little bit shaky. So my suggestion, don't let go of the handlebars when you have a cargo bike, especially if you've got a heavier load. Because as you can see, when I sit on this bike, it does raise it up, therefore making the front end a little bit lighter. Now granted, I've got the kickstand down now, so the bike isn't all the way on the ground, but this simulates kind of the effect that you get whenever you're riding the bike. With a lot of weight in the back and none up front, the handlebars are more free to spin. So if you are going to load this bike up, I would recommend getting the rack for the front or the duffel bag that I've got, putting some of your supplies in there, and then kind of distributing it evenly throughout the bike. That way you have a more even weighted bike and it controls a lot easier. Now with that being said, as long as I kept this bike in a nice controlled speed, under 31 miles an hour, and I kept my hands on the handlebars, like you probably should anyways, I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. The bike felt really secure, really stable, cruising around my city streets, no problems whatsoever. So I wouldn't let the imbalance of the weight actually sway you away from one of these awesome cargo bikes. So now that you guys know more about this bike, let's go over some of the accessories that you can buy for this bike, because it's absolutely crazy what you can get. I've got a few here that you've seen me load up already throughout this video, and these accessories are definitely a really good option for this bike, but there's so much more that you can actually get for this bike, all depending on what type of riding you're wanting to do. Now, first up is this awesome duffel bag. This thing is really cool because it has a strap that you can carry this in to wherever you're going, stuff all of your stuff in the inside of it, and then back here, it clips onto your handlebars really easily. The nice thing about this bag is that since it clips on with these simple straps, you can use this on any Aventon bike. This is something that I'm gonna be using anytime I go to the store, whether it's on the cargo bike or on one of my other e-bikes. Now, opening this up, you do have just a ton of storage. It's just one big open bag, and it's got a clip on the back that you can clip it to other things. But what I like to do is while it's attached to my bike, I'll simply clip the strap in there. That way the strap doesn't hang down whenever you're going down the road. Now let me show you guys how easy it is to put this on and take it off. It's just simply two straps that go on either side of the computer screen on your handlebars. Once you've got them locked into place, you can just simply pull them tight and you can fill the bag up with whatever you want. And then whenever you're ready to take it off, it's just two clips and you're ready to go. Next up are the pannier bags. These things are massive and they're relatively cheap, coming in under 90 bucks for both of them. They have 3 clips that you can cinch down really tight. They also have a Velcro attachment that will keep them closed and a Velcro attachment on the sides to keep the sides closed. Not only that, whenever you open these things up, it's got a nice hard bottom here, so you can put things that are a little bit heavier in this and it'll be secure. Then you do get a little zipper bag in each one of these that you can store all kinds of small items in. And then also it does come with an interior strap that goes to this buckle, so you can cinch it down to keep the sides in while you go down the road. These pannier bags are the biggest pannier bags that I have ever seen. They are specifically designed for the Abound, and they can store so much stuff. They've got quick releases to release them from the bike really fast. And they also have Velcro straps if you want to secure these down even more to your frame. So whenever you attach the panniers, you're no longer going to have access to these foot panels. You can leave them on, but you won't be able to put a passenger on here. To get these things attached really quickly, you just simply push it down on this little rod right here. They'll just simply clip on. And then whenever you're ready to remove them, you just release those quick release options on the back here, just like this. And then it'll come right off. Now, if you have the basket like I do, you're gonna have limited access to the panniers. You're not gonna be able to remove them real easy, and you're not gonna be able to open them all the way up. You'll just have to open them up and pull the side out to be able to access the items inside there. You can still do it, but it's not as convenient as if you didn't have the top basket. However, I love that top basket, and that's what we're gonna talk about next. All right, now that we've got the pannier bags installed and the duffel bag installed, I wanna show you guys my favorite accessory for this bike, and that's this giant basket. This thing really makes it into a true cargo bike because you can hold a ton of stuff on here, and then you can secure it down with either the net that Aventon offers on their website or just some straps. This thing is really awesome. It's literally a truck bed for the back of your bike. Let's get this installed really quick. It's super easy. It's only 4 bolts. Now, my recommendation whenever you're installing this is just barely thread in the first couple of screws and then get the other 2 up front started. That way, whenever you tighten up all the bolts, you'll have everything lined up perfectly. And there we go. The truck bed is fully installed. Look how awesome this thing looks. you could totally go to a grocery store and pick up everything you need for a solid week. So carrying around cargo might not be what you want to do with your bike. You may want to carry around other people or tiny humans. On the back rack, you can actually get a seat or you can get a child seat. That way you can haul around up to 2 kids on this or have one secured in an actual seat. They made this rack super versatile and they supply all the accessories on their website. So if you've made it this far in the video, you pretty much know everything there is about the Aventon Abound. This bike is super versatile and it comes in at a really good price. And the amount of accessories that you can get for this is just unreal. But I want to give you guys a narrowed down list of what I absolutely love about this bike and what I don't love about this bike. So with the Aventon bikes, there's just so many things that I love about their bikes. I have been reviewing tons of e-bikes over the last year, and by far, Aventon is on the top. These things are just absolutely amazing. 3 things I love about this bike. But just the overall aesthetics is number 1. This bike looks absolutely amazing for a cargo bike. These things typically don't look all that good, but Aventon did a really good job making really clean lines. The welds look absolutely amazing on it. The paint is pristine. The side load battery makes it really convenient. Aventon put a lot of thought into how this cargo bike was really going to be set up, and you can tell that with every aspect of it. The next item that I love is the fact that they went with a brand name fork. This SR Sun Tour fork really shows that they wanted to give the customer the best quality ride that they could. Going with a name brand fork like SR Sun Tour, this thing is going to be serviceable, and not to mention, they've got the Novatech hub and the through axle, which really does help with the stability of this ride. And if I have to choose one out of the rest of the stuff that I love about this bike, it's gonna be the accessories that are available to it. It comes with this awesome built-in bag right here. You can get a duffel bag or a front rack. You've got all the options that I've got right here. You can carry passengers on this of all different ages and sizes. This thing is just got a ton of accessories that make this bike super versatile no matter what type of rider you are. Now, as far as the stuff that I really don't love about this bike, that list is a lot smaller. And I would say the number 1 thing is the stability when you have a lot of weight on the back of this bike. Now, the solution for that is to load more cargo up on the front of your bike, but if you're carrying a passenger and you don't have any other cargo, you got to make sure that you are gripping onto the handlebars and not letting go. It's not gonna feel unstable going down the road with both hands or even just one hand on the handlebar. There is that possibility that it could get a little bit unstable with so much weight on the back. That's not something super easy to resolve whenever it comes to cargo bikes, so I don't really hold that over Aventon's head. You just have to make sure that you load up your bike as evenly as possible and keep those hands on the handlebars. Now, the next thing that I don't love about this bike is the pannier bags not being able to easily be removable whenever you have this basket on top. I would love to be able to just quickly remove these by maybe pulling something over on the side here and unlatching those latches and have it pop off. But unfortunately, these are made like traditional pannier bags where you've got to go down to clip onto them. If they could come up with another way on the next set of pannier bags for the Abound that you would actually pull from the side or pull from the back to unlatch them to where you could slide them in and out, that would be super handy. That's a big downfall. However, you don't really have problem getting access to everything that's in here. It's just you are limited to what you could fit in there from the top. So if they can make the pannier bags removable with this basket on, that would be awesome. And lastly, the thing that I don't love is that there really are no accessories that come with the rear rack. And this is a fault of pretty much every bike that has a rear rack. I do wish that a net would be included with all rear racks that come on every bike. That way, whenever you want to sit something on there, you could easily put the net over it. They do sell a net option that works with this basket, and it should work with the rack that comes on this bike, but it would be really nice if that was just an added accessory since this is a cargo bike. So if you guys are looking for a cargo style bike, I really don't know that there's another bike that can beat this in the price point category. I've reviewed one other cargo bike on this channel, and I've got to say, for the price being the exact same as the Aventon blows it out of the water. And not to mention, if you guys haven't watched my other videos, I touch on the subject that you can get these bikes serviced in over 1,200 stores across the United States. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to pick up an Aventon bike of any sorts, I would appreciate it if you used my links down below. But if the Aventon Abound is not the bike for you, you're gonna wanna check out this playlist right here.